Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Do Something, the show where we make something cool from stuff you find around the house. Today we're going to try and make unicorn friends. So here you can see what the finished project looks like. It's a couple of unicorns I made out of some cards that I had that were made of colored paper. Here are the materials you'll need. They're pretty simple: color or note cards or paper, glue, scissors, and a marker. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with rolling the paper up, and then we're going to add some glue. The hard part is that you kind of need to keep even pressure across it as you roll it in. You might get some glue on your fingertips. I like to smooth it out, and that's how I get it in my mind. But then once you've rolled it, you need to make sure that you put some extra glue inside that final edge there to wrap it all up. And once it's done, you hold it for about 20 seconds and let it do its thing. And the next step we're going to do is folding the head shape. So you just take the card and you fold it in half long ways, hot dog, and then you fold it in half fat wise, which I guess I call a hamburger. So the hard part here, you might need some help with it, is to cut about 3/4 of the way. You got to leave a little strip, and then you cut off that bit so that you can then bend what will be the face down. If you can manage it, what you'll get at the top is a little bit of a triangular shape. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off some excess here at the bottom. You kind of make a guitar shape to make the shape of a horse's face. And then you're going to round off the nose by cutting the very tip of the nose with scissors to make it a circle. So then what we need to do is make sure we get the shape just right. See the triangle at the top? Then what we're going to do is cut eyeballs. So I took a piece of white cardstock, I folded it in half, about the size of a dime. I cut it in half here, and then I'm going to draw in the little eyeball parts. Match it up with the face so that it looks okay. So I usually start with a C shape, and here I made 2 little highlights in it. You can do whatever kind of eyeball you want. It can just be a dot. It's going to look pretty good no matter what. So I like to outline my eyeballs, but you don't have to do that. Here I'm cutting the ears. I take a scrap piece of that pink cardstock note card, and I cut it so that it is symmetrical. I do the thing where you fold it in half and you cut that same shape. So then all you have to do is make sure you fold it so that it can sit on top of the face. Here I'm drawing the smile and the nose, and I drew a kind of curly looking like letter P, and on the other side you draw the same shape, so backwards, and it looks like a 9. So here what I'm doing is gluing the tip of the face together. So I put just a little bit inside and make sure that that front part is glued together. You don't have to glue it all the way back, just a little bit inside of where the mouth and nose will be. So then what I'm going to do is glue the eyeballs on where we sort of positioned them before. Make sure it looks pretty good. You don't have to have that much. It doesn't have to be squishy so that it comes out the side. Just make sure you put a little bit on, smooth it out with your finger if you can, and then hold it in place for about, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, something like that. So then we're going to do the same thing with the ears. Just measure them against each other and fold back a tab so that they're ready to glue on. And here what I'm going to do is draw a little detail into the ears so they stand out. It's an upside down U shape. Usually I would do this by putting it down on the cardboard and then draw on a flat surface, but I want to make sure you can see what I was doing. So then we glue them in place. You got to hold them down for about 10 seconds like you do with any other glue. And make sure they fit on the head. That's why you sort of push out that triangle shape earlier on. And then once those are all ready to go, we're going to do the horn in a second here. And it's a little tricky because you got to cut it at an angle. But it's going to be just like we did with the ears, where we cut a shape, we make it symmetrical, so it's the same on both sides. So here we're going to do the eyelashes and we're going to do the horn. So the eyelashes are pretty simple. Just turn it sideways and you can add 4 or 5 of them on both sides. So with the horn, I cut at an angle and then I refine the shape just a little bit. You can have it be a sort of thicker horn, but I wanted to make it just sort of a nice wedge shape here. So I cut it and then I fold back the tab so we have something to glue down. Now I measure it against the head of the unicorn. Make sure there's space for it. I cut off a little bit of the tab here just so that it will be a better fit on the head, just so I have enough to glue down. So then what I do is I draw on the stripes and I trace around the outside edge to help it pop out. And I do that on both sides. You can unfold it and get a look at what you did on the other side. And so I just trace around it, and then I add about 4 or 5 lines. And what I'm going to do then, after I have it all drawn out, is put a little glue on the inside and fold it together so that it's one piece. And at the bottom, you have your little tabs, and we're going to add glue to those too. And then the next and last step with the horn is to just put it on the head of the unicorn and hold it down for about 10 seconds. So it goes pretty fast and looks pretty good. I do it at an angle so it doesn't look like it's standing straight up. I think it makes it a little bit nicer. So then the final step, really, for all the parts you're going to need is to cut out the bits for the mane. So what was left over from the part where you cut the horn, I cut into a few little strips. And then the first one I'm going to do is match it up with the back of the unicorn. So I glue it on. This one takes a little while. You got to hold it down, make sure it sticks. And then I curl the paper to make it look a little bit more like hair. The next part is slightly tricky, but we're going to do the same thing with both of our leftover strips, and then we're going to glue them to the one that we put on the back of the unicorn. We're going to glue them almost like you would like a tiled roof, fitting into each other, just slightly offset. So I put a little bit on there. You got to hold them all together for a while and make sure that it sticks. 10-20 seconds. Count slowly to 20. And then we're going to do that one more time, I think, with our, so we have 3 total, I guess. And that's going to be the mane. So just make sure it sticks, hold it down, be a little bit patient with it. And then what we have is final assembly. Fit the unicorn with the stem into the tube we made earlier. And now you got a couple of unicorn friends. You can all put them all together. You can make as many as you want from different colors. Hope you had fun. Thanks a lot.